Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I'm here at Union Space, and I want to thank them for basically allowing BKK.FM to use the studio today. And we're in a rather echoey, but I think I'm going to make it work next time. In other words, because I don't know about you guys, but the way that I look at life is like the first time I do something, all it is prep for like doing it the second time, right? Although I'm not looking at marriage that way. But let me check out this chat here and make sure that is actually functional. But Union Space is where I'm at right now, and Thrive Together is their hashtag. Howdy, Chris. Good to see you. Hope you're well. I'm going to, and look at that. The YouTube Chris stream is revisited. You're recording a podcast? Well, I'm doing a podcast too, Mariano. So no worries, dude. I'm just testing like I do a lot, right? And so let me guess, Chris, are you on your iPhone chatting? Is that why that showed itself? I'm amazed at the reliably unreliable ability for that to that repeat itself. It's just very weird. But you're showing up that way. I could not restream, and although they told me that when I'm doing this, the next time I'm supposed to turn that off and turn it back on again. So I guess I will try that. But basically, the reason that I'm here is because I'm trying this studio, and I want to try a couple other things. I know that I don't know, but I believe that it's very echoey here. Oh, so you're on. Okay, so then we can't basically blame it on the. Your YouTubeness is being restreamed via YouTube, and it's only on your channel account. How weird is that, right? I just don't get it. And I don't particularly recall how I. Let me go back and see what they told me the last time I was chatting. One of the places that I can't believe that the VPN actually matters at all. It did tell me that one of my places that I'm streaming to apparently won't work. But they did give me the link on like, hey, this is how you turn it on and turn it off. So maybe I'll try that and see what happens. Yeah, let me open that. And then again, I'm on my laptop, but I'm in performance mode. And let's see, I'm charging, and it's going to take 45 minutes until I get a real charge. I'll turn off relay mode. How's that? And see what. So now, chat, Chris, I've turned relay mode off. And so that simply will not relay a YouTube command to Facebook or a Facebook command to the YouTube stream, which one could argue it's like, yeah, well, I mean, pretty much everyone's watching. Now, what I could do, I suppose, is I could show the chat here. You like my little Christmas background? How friggin' adorable is that, right? It probably makes you guys just like absolutely want to throw up, but no need. Let me choose a little bit of a different background. How's that? But I'm using their green screen too, which is actually pretty sharp, considering I literally just like took the green screen out of the box. In other words, like it was this folded, this folded thing. Hey, Roger, good to see you, man. Hope you're well. No VPN now, but it's still. I need to let them know that I have turned off. Because that apparently will be of value to them. And get rid of this thing. But anyway, no I wish I could put that logo elsewhere. That'd be cool. I wonder if I can do that. I wonder if I can like drag it. Nah, I can't drag it elsewhere. That's too bad. Yeah. Oh well. Um, mm, but I want to thank you guys for coming by. I'm having fun, as you might guess, over here at Union Space. I wanted to address a couple of things that are happening in Bangkok. Okay, back. Let me go over to YouTube. And now you're okay. Let me turn relaying back on. Let's see if it takes. Relay mode is now on, and very clear picture. Cool studio. Thank you for that, Roger. I actually I'm a little bit critical of this, as you might get. Um, Relay is back on, and so I guess turning it off and turning it back on fixed it. As an engineer, guess how much I dislike that. So anyway, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be talking to you guys. I actually want your opinion, as you might guess, on the sound quality. I know there's only 4 of you watching right now, but you guys are the important 4 people, right? I'm not as I normally would. I would normally be on top of the microphone basically like this, but I don't have a boom. I only have a desk stand that I'm using right now. As you might guess, when I got here, I made a list of all the things that I don't have with me that I want to have with me. And so I'll be doing that the next time I come here. And they also just sent me a message online to answer my question that I asked them yesterday at about this time. Do you have a studio that I can use? And they said, yes, you can use the photo studio. And I just sent them a message back. Yes, thank you. You're the one who brought me up here. I'm using it. Yeah, I assumed it would be a little bit echoey. And because of that, I just anticipated that in the future I would simply be talking like this, as I normally do in these microphones, as you know. Although this one I can actually talk into this. The other ones that I have, usually I'm like this way. And I'll be bringing one of those along with a mic boom, and you can see a little bit of fuzz on the green screen there, I think, or at least I can. And yes, I have my Johnny Carson mic. Thanks, man. Good to see you, Todd. How you doing? So I've come over here because of a couple of reasons. I think I may have mentioned to you guys a company that I've sort of been involved with, that I'm part of. I'm an investor. I'm an investor of time, talent, treasure. Right. I don't really give a lot of money, and actually, because it may be a distribution that I really don't care about. For the most part, I believe that I'm on the YouTube and the Facebook channels that I want to be. Hey, Dave! Good to see you. How you doing, Dave? So Dave was a dude who was involved in the Kiss FM project, and is still currently, and he's done a show for me, which is very cool. And I don't, Dave, what's your plan as far as getting back to Australia? Getting back to Pattaya. Because I definitely need some local folks down there. I heard an unsolicited report from a guy up here in Bangkok 2 days ago. He's like, yeah, I just got back from Pattaya. I went down there and, checked it out. And I think he took a taxi down or something like that. It was like, a couple $1,000. And when he was sharing about down there, he said, oh my God, it's totally dead down there. And 95% of the places are closed, and 75% of the places will never come back. Now, again, this was his opinion of being down there. He's a veteran Thailander, and he's a veteran Pattaya. And so I kind of believe that he's not exaggerating much. And plans the new year. Awesome, dude. Good, looking forward to it. If you guys listen to Kiss FM, then you know that he is David 3D Ward, if you've heard him on the air. The other reason I'm here is because what I wanted to do is I wanted to find a place that is fairly close to my house that I can, but a place where is not my house, so I can do like work basically. So radio or video editing or something like that. Let me see if I can grab the GoPro and turn that on and give you guys an idea of like where I'm sitting right now. I also want to do this because I want to walk away from this green screen, which actually doesn't move a whole lot when I do that. So that's pretty good because the green screen is really, well, the green screen is real. First of all, let me walk away from it and see if you see any of it. That'll be interesting. No, that's pretty damn good. I mean, considering like you are, I mean, literally that is 100% green screen. And so, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to grab the GoPro, and I'm sure that was really echoing. Hey, Joe, good to see you, man. Jesus, what time is it? My God, dude, it's like 2:45 in the morning. I wanted to add the GoPro into this mix so that I can cruise around the room here. But the Wi-Fi that I'm on is for the entire place. So, as you might guess, when I first joined it said, "Hey, do you want to share yourself with all of the people in that?" No, not right now, thanks. It's a co-working space, and I understand, like, okay, so like a number of businesses, right, have like eaten it over the last, certainly, let's say for the sake of argument, 2 years. 19 months, 20 months. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Roy. I'm glad you're in there. And he says, I don't agree. I want to put this up there so we can talk about it. Definitely more tourists here now, seeing loads of new faces, but don't know how the life. Yeah, and to be fair, my friend, he's not a nightlifer. He's in a similar club that I am, and in that club, we kind of talk about not going to nightlife places. Now I'm getting a little bit of jitter on my video, so if that's what's showing up down there, then that would be pretty disappointing. Anyway, as I was preempting my judgment of this current co-working space, I was saying that I understand that a whole bunch of industries have eaten it in the shorts, taken it in the shorts, as they say, right? And the co-working spaces definitely are victim to that. And now you definitely know I'm on. Oh my God, look at. So here's what's funny, right? So I have this like green. I have actual hair that grows out, believe it or not. But because of the green screen and for me not shaving, then I get this. I have this green fuzz. I'm the world's largest chia pet, as it turns out right now. And so thank you for that update, Roy. Anyway, so my buddy, he goes down there and he's not a nightlife guy, but I think I might be able to stream from this to my maybe not. Yeah, thanks, Dave. These are the guys that are going to work for me. You're hired, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's radio, right? And there's zero revenue right now. And so unfortunately, me and a few other people are doing this on a full volunteer basis. But nonetheless, I'm here to do this, but I'm here to also like make notes of what I need to do next time, not the least of which is go from 60 frames a second to 50 so that I don't get the beating of the lights while I'm here, but I'll try that next time. The other cool thing, I have never experienced this before, but I am so thrilled. And not only am I like kind of, it's like, yeah, of course they would install this kind of air conditioner here in this studio. Now, again, for the most part, they refer to this as the photo studio, not the sound studio. They don't have a sound studio. They don't have a soundproof studio. Sitting here, I could like hear the loud motorbikes drive down the road. And I also heard some people talking outdoors, which indicates to me that they are definitely hearing me talk out that door. Because I have an outdoor voice and I use it regularly indoors. And so I told them, I said, look, do you have a soundproof room so it's quiet? You know, they said, oh yeah, quiet. I said, but because my voice projects, and so I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to make sure that I don't bother other people. Now, I'm on the floor, and this is the office at the end of the hallway. The offices leading up to this, if you've ever been in a co-working space, are basically those offices where people pay, more money, right? But they get their own individual office. They don't have to share it. It's the co-working part of it is absolutely removed from the co-working spaceness. Good morning from BT headquarters, UK. Logan here. Hello, sir. I'm glad you came by, man. Where did that come from? Oh, you just have the L on your, okay, so you're like watching in YouTube. Thank you. British Petroleum? Is that what they allow you to stream YouTube on while you're at work? That's mighty nice of them. Mighty open-minded. Anyway, so I'm streaming on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and Twitter and not on TikTok, as it turns out. And I probably will. I may want to, but so far so good. This is working pretty good. And the nice thing about having the replay on from Restream is that we got to see Dave's chat up there, which is really cool. Yeah, so I haven't been to Pattaya in. Gracie and I went down there, I believe, in November, and that's when I dropped off the transmitter, hooked it up, and the transmitter works great. The problem is the antenna is a piece of crap. And so I'm sort of on the fence. I'm deciding whether to spend more money, which is pretty. I'm 49% for that. I'm 51% highly unlikely at that point, or at this stage, which I've also talked to the current owner of the license about, and I said I haven't been able to convince myself that there's a way to make enough money to make this worth me allocating money to it. Right now, it's incredibly fun. It's as fun as BKK.FM, and BKK.FM generates zero. Well, actually, we don't generate zero revenue. We do generate revenue. No, it's actually 3. Chia, Joe. So you're going to need to focus, But I do like being your favorite Martian. So thank you for that, Dave. Thank you so much for always being incredibly gracious, Joe, and saying hi to my mom, my dad, and my Gracie. But I want to show you the remote for this AC unit because it has a setting on it that I was just thrilled that it had. Didn't know these were even available, but totally stoked that it was here. Turbo / quiet. Are you kidding me? Like, that is perfect, right? One of the reasons that in Dana's studio, he's got this AC unit that I think was made back when Thailand was still Siam. And it's loud and it works very well. It gets the room freezing cold, but I don't like to have icicles falling off my testicles when I'm doing a podcast with my buddy Dana. Pretty much in general, I don't like that, actually. So I try and stay away from that. Connected direct to Thailand, and you turned green in the changeover. Oh, 50 hertz rules. Yeah. We can debate that all day long. In fact, we could massively debate that. In fact, you and I together, we could probably mass debate like that topic. Wait, what? Yeah. And to be fair, I can kind of change that. It does have a spill setting. So that gets me a little bit. You like that? Hey, Mike, you went away. Great technology so far. So the smoothness is there, and then the similarity. So this is what is behind me, in case you care, and this is me without that. So I'm getting a little bit of spill, but it's also because of my hair. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. I'm out. We'll message you later. Thanks a lot, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you coming by. Hi, honey. So I'm at oh, wow. It's even worse now, right? Like with the green. So I need to work on that. And I actually thought that this would show up a lot more than it did, these lines here, because as I think I showed you, it's like I literally just took it out of the package. Like and I don't have an iron on me, right? So I don't have the. What I thought I might do actually is choose the exact color. Let me do that. Let me choose custom, and let me choose this, and then let me choose this color, and then let me do a little bit of it, and I think that should pull it out a little bit better. But I think I still have like full on green fuzz, right? So anyway, yeah, I'd like to get rid of that. Isn't that cool? Black and white. Years and years ago, when all I was in black and white. So anyway, any of you guys that have watched me do a YouTube video know that this is like part of what I do. So yeah, so it's just your favorite Martian rocking it out. So I'm here in this co-working space, honey. It's called Union Space, because we thrive together. Us, Union Space, get it together? Yeah. And so that's kind of cool. Thank you so much for saying hi to my number one friend, Mrs. Somerville. They just replaced the old unit and it's silent now. Oh, good for him. Yeah, I was pretty stoked about this, and I don't blame him either. I mean, I think he signed like another 2-3 year lease on that place, and the studio is really neat. British Telecom. Thank you. Is that what he meant when he said the BT headquarters? I hope so. I hope he's got like solid glass watching live my ass off. Just got back from Koh Chang, stayed in 4 different areas, enjoyed it. Beautiful weather now. Yeah, I mean, it is, right? Now until April, right? With the smoky season. And who did I just watch up there? Chris, right? He's up there and he did like a Airbnb kind of thing. Airbnb review. Seems like he and his wife are at a nice place now. It's kind of cool. I miss where you're at. Oh, and so I'm in a co-working space, Joe. This one. And it's on Ekamai. If you're familiar with Sukhumvit and BTS, if you get off BTS on Ekamai and then you walk down here, this is where you'd be. I think actually by choosing the green color in the green screen and not using green like this, then for some reason it's not really. Yeah, it doesn't really blend real well. It's too bad. But anyway, if I had shaved, that would probably be much more helpful. I want to get that's pretty sharp, and you can see the darkness in my. And I'm well lit too. I have like 2 soft boxes that are straight on me, so I'm not really sure. They're not awesome ones, but it's working so far. At least I got rid of that fuzzy green line. And so I came down here because they have the company that I'm a part of, Driver, DRVR. They have a subscription here. I believe it's a 2-year one. And so they use this as sort of their office. And this is also one of those places where they help answer the phone and take mail. And then they have, developers that will come here. They also have developers all over the world. And so anyway, it's pretty cool. I dig it. And it's worth every penny, which is 0 that I've shelled out thus far. The neat thing, too, is that while this isn't really a sound studio, I can use it for this, but then I could also use it for different sort of broadcasts. So that would be kind of cool. I tried doing some voice tracking earlier on, but again, this is just like one of these microphones that I travel with to test stuff. Because if it's like, depending upon what this sounds like with no windscreen, then I know what microphone to bring next time. So one of the mics I'm definitely going to bring next time is an SM58. And you got to get really, really close up on the pattern like this. And I got some windscreens coming in the mail. I think they got delivered today. So anyway, you had the green. Yeah, hopefully, Mrs. Lockwood Sarah. I'm waiting for you to text. I thought we were going to meet at Ekamai. Well, I came down here to check it out first, and then I was going to actually send you a message that I forgot to do. that you were going to come here. So what I could do is I could stop live streaming. And then I could, what time? It's 3:00. So I'm just going to do this for a little bit longer and not much. And then I'm going to come home, honey. Because I didn't get here until probably like 45 minutes ago. So it was a little later. So that's kind of a drag. But yeah, so I'm going to be home after this, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow and do a real day here, which you're welcome to come with me. I'd be psyched if you could. There's a beanbag in here, actually. You could. Although the thing that bugs me, I mean, it's a co-working space, right? So it's like, okay, shared. But I mean, my expectation is the co-working space is going to have really decent Wi-Fi, and here it's like 25 megs down, and it's like, dude, come on, that's pretty ridiculous. So no. What they have is an antenna that I am used to using for two-way. And again, two-way, a lot of it is, 100 megahertz band. So it can be used for sure. But it is not a very... I'm used to using circularly polarized, right? And so let me see if I can pull up a photo of it. I don't know if I've taken one, but the short answer is yes. That's what they're using, folded dipoles, and it's so lame, and therefore it's only vertically polarized, and so you're losing a lot of. You're getting all of the power in that one plane, but you're losing out because many radios, for example, in a car, they have a diagonally installed antenna, right? So you're losing a lot of power once you get there. So that's kind of a drag. It's a 4-bay, and so they're getting a little bit of gain. So my 500 watt antenna, maybe if we're lucky, we're getting like, considering it is all in one plane, ideally we're getting 1500 watts ERP, effective radiated power, but I doubt it. I'm always up for a mass debate. Attaboy. See, you get me. Yeah, see, so honey, so Gracie and I, because we're in the FBI and the CIA, and she's the Punisher, as it turns out. We now use phrases in the marriage like "copy that," "Roger that." So yeah, it's a pretty hierarchical, actually. So that's pretty cool. I do need a Gracie cam. Stand by. Let me send this to her. And then she can come in if she's still listening. By this time, she's probably like, yeah, you should have messaged me and you didn't. I hate everything about you. But I'll send her the link. And if she wants to click on that, then she can join the stream. My 90-day report is done. Excellent. Very happy about that. So I'll print that out and put it in my passport. 30 dB down between polarization. Yes. And it's, again, you could argue, well, I've also had people say, well, if you're running mono, it'll go further. Okay, yes, but you're losing L minus R, right? So that is another thing. Yep, I completely agree. This does that. There's another one over there, and if you've ever, how like some people, they do this, they do a design, let's say, that is industrial, right? So they use like gas lines and gas pipes for, like beauty or whatever. Anyway, there's a table in here that has the legs and the cross members from those gas lines. And so it's actually a little bit sturdier. The problem is it's physically bigger. So there's a little bit more, you're getting a leverage thing going on, right? So it doesn't, but yeah, that's totally lame. And one of the things that I would actually do is probably get a separate mic. I would bring a separate microphone and put it on a tripod. There are some tripods here. Most of them have some degree of broken in them. But again, that's part of the fun, right? It's like fixing stuff. So, and again, they're not charging me extra for this today. Shocker. I show up, right, and as part of Driver, they like bought a 2-year membership for this place, and they got a good deal on it and everything, right? And they're a startup, and they're having them answer the phones and that sort of thing, which of course they never ring. Everyone does. No one calls anybody. But normally you have to pay extra for the meeting rooms, that sort of thing, right? So anyway. So great question. How much for the tower? So that's the other thing too, is that the tower, did I say it right? You absolutely did. Of course, you always do. You're amazing. So okay. The tower, right, that's on top of the building where the studios are, if you guys remember the live stream I did from there, it's right next to, if you've ever been to Pattaya, it's right next to Tukkom, right, like the IT mall, and the top of the antenna does not go over the top of the Tukkom building. So that's that first thing that pisses me off. But secondly, the coax that goes up there is pretty lousy, and there's actually 3 antennas up there. There's 2 folded dipoles, and then there's 1 circularly polarized one, which is used for FM 96, which actually has some penetration into the market, even though that's what's helpful. That you get the horizontal polarization, and you get some reflection off of the other buildings, and so it doesn't necessarily need to be above there, even though, as you guys know, of course, FM is line of sight. And even though you stood me up, well, you know what, honey, I'm going to come home, and I will not stand you up next time. How's that? Yeah, I know. It was bad timing. I didn't leave my bagel shop till like I don't think I left my bagel shop till like 12:30 with Jamie, and then I got and by the time I got here, when did I get here? Did I get here at like 2? Yeah, maybe I got here before 2, and it took me forever to just like set up all this stuff. So anyway. Yes, you said that right, that you stood me up, or that I stood you up, sorry. Good morning, Nico. Good to see you. I get so many notifications from you of you going live. Congratulations, man. You go live a lot. That's really cool. I unfortunately don't have the time or allocate the time to watch many things, let alone YouTube. I mean, as you guys know, Dana is my brother, basically, and I certainly haven't watched a full live stream of his. I maybe like go in and out for like a second, but then I get distracted, or I have something else that's in my calendar that I need to do. And so the short answer, Joe, is I would need about the way I estimate it, I would need about another 300,000 baht, or approximately 10,000 or 330,000 baht, $10,000. Because I need to take the antenna, I need to take the tower, I need to move it somewhere. I was hoping I'd just go over to Tukkom and say, hey, you guys are blocking. Can I get on top of your building? I'll pay you for that real estate on the roof. But then it also needs more coax, and then and you don't just like add it on, because you lose, as Chris knows, you use 3D to B at every coupling. So it's like crap. So, and once you start then to get that distance, then you need some thicker coax, and you need to potentially be injecting nitrogen into the dielectric, and so that's not going to happen, because there's no way I can get a tank of nitrogen regularly delivered in Thailand. I mean, radio here is literally a hobby. It is not the professional stuff that is happening in the United States. And so, it was really good evening, good morning, and great afternoon here from Rayong. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. G'day. See, that's all the cool kids are welcoming you, my friends. Absolutely. That is so cool. No, yeah. I love you. Even at 1 to 200 megahertz, you should be using LDF 450 at $2 a foot. I think right now there's 2 kinds of coax that they're using right now. One of them, believe it or not, is probably I would say it's probably 2-inch. The coupling is like 2-inch. But yeah, LDF 450 is a little small for my level of comfort. And I'm trying to remember. I don't even know. I'm trying to think. I guess the majority of them, the two of them, I want to say it's probably 1 inch. Maybe it's 1.25 inches. Um, because it doesn't have end connectors on it. I mean, it's got like fairly large connectors that are more like L4s. What is L4 PDF, right? Is that what those connectors are? Let me make sure. No, they're even bigger than that, actually. Um, they're, oh, maybe they are. Mm, yeah, it might be using those. There's also a bandpass filter that's broken. It's not being used, so that's kind of a drag. And so, but here's what's this? One day we can do. I know, dude. I know the scheduling is like Teresa. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. But I completely agree, Nico. One of these days we are going to have to do that. So the whole $2 a foot thing, dude. It is definitely more than that here. So here's what I'm gonna do next time I do a broadcast, Chris. I'm gonna do I'll make sure that I have some pictures at the ready of the transmitter room. I know I was up there before, and I like kind of move the phone around and show you guys some of that stuff. But building power and electrical stations seems so much easier. Well, yeah, here's the other thing too, right? Is that there are many electricians out there, and there are many people that understand power distribution at like a high voltage level, like 250 kVA and 275 and 384 and all. But radio, I mean, it's not, there's a finite number of radio stations. And so therefore it's like, well, yeah, but how much power is there? Well, every single building in the entire world, right, has, so there's the varying degrees of people's knowledge that are necessary for that. And so, yeah, it's definitely a rare breed. There aren't very many. I have been unable to find FM broadcast engineers that are here. The radio stations that I talk to, they're like, yeah, we kind of use a guy who's a buddy of a friend of another guy, and he like climbs up the tower, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. So then we bring another guy in, and then there's this consulting company that we use in Bangkok, but we don't really trust them. I mean, it's just all this hobby stuff, basically. So 4-inch copper bus bars. So what I'm used to actually is solid copper. I'm used to 3-inch. I'm used to 3-inch, which is the shield, and then the center conductor is basically probably about 3/4 inch. I'm used to that, right? And then you fill the space in between the center conductor and the thing. That's like a helical piece of plastic with holes in it, and you squirt nitrogen in there so that there's no conductivity, right? And there's no moisture that'll get in there. And you actually count on there being some kind of leakage. And so you have these you have these 4-foot tall tanks of nitrogen, and you inject that into part of the dielectric, and that keeps the conductivity from ever arcing across. If it does arc across, you're in deep shit. But I'm also used to dealing with stations that are thousands and thousands and thousands of watts. I think the lowest power station I ever worked for was probably 1,500 watts nighttime AM. And that station also had 50 kilowatts during the day, which, of course, in the radio world, we refer to that as having 50 gallons. But yeah, and I'm also used to using like copper bus bars inside of my dog houses at the bottom of the AM towers, if you guys know what the hell that means. Got back to Joe's house on the bike ride. Ah, very cool. I've watched a few of those too, man. It was like really neat. You guys met up with a bunch of guys who had, or it seems like you met up with a bunch of guys. I know I was watching Patty's thing, and he met up with a whole bunch of guys that were on like a Honda. Most of them were like Honda tours. But I saw some of you guys, and I didn't recognize everybody. So it sounds like you had a really big group, dude. That's like totally awesome. LDF 450 is only 3 bead loss at 100 meters at 400 megs. Yes, they're end connectors. So actually, it converts. It's not the end connectors that are about this big, that I'm used to at 450. When we had like 450, when we had like a Marty, right, which is like a one way. So anyway, 3dB at 100 meters. I wish I had a tower that was 100 meters. That would be friggin' amazing. But yeah, it's only 500, so that's a real drag. And thank you, Dave, so much for coming by. I really appreciate it, man. I'm honored. Thanks for saying hi to the other guys at the Cool Kids table. Yeah, how's that ass of yours? That's what I want to hear about. That's quality broadcast right there. Sore, yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, well, so you're back at Joe's, right? Which means you're in when? Prachap CurryCon. So you got what, another 2 days of ride, 3 days of ride? Communication I don't get, but when you guys talk Profile Bus, I just nod my absolutely. That's the best thing to do. Just nod your head, Mark. Oh, wait, hold on. Back at Joe just now tomorrow. I would start trip to Surin. Okay, so but you're not doing it in one day, are you? Thank you, Joe. And because of you doing that, that makes me think I need to check my buymeasmoothie.com. And okay, good. So here's what's interesting about Buy Me a Smoothie. Buy Me a Smoothie, meaning buymeacoffee.com, that company. But my buymeasmoothie.com, they actually discontinued their relationship with PayPal. So if and when you would make a donation on buymeasmoothie.com, I would get a notification almost immediately from PayPal that, hey, you've got this money. But now I had to join it to Stripe, which is seemingly actually a pretty decent company. I'm actually quite pleased with their performance and their KYC, their Know Your Customer benefit. That was actually pretty easy. But then again, Joe, thank you so much, dude. Okay, so like literally when I leave here, I will literally walk down the street and I know exactly where I'm going to buy a smoothie. I'm going to get a watermelon one because I've been in the mood for one of those for a while. And then I'll probably get Gracie a coconut one on the way home. 3-inch Heliax is mega expensive anywhere. That's why it's good for a couple kilowatts. Yeah, I don't even have the foggiest idea where I would order that. I know exactly where I would order it in San Diego, of course, and then Boston wouldn't be that much more difficult. But man, out of the U.S., I am just like at a loss at where to get that stuff. 1,200 kilometers, dude. That's absolutely a crazy ride for sure. 2 days by yourself to Surin. Is it? And it's just you. Once you get to Joe. Well, wait. What about Mitch? Isn't he coming up with you? I guess he's kind of coming up to Bangkok, right? And then from there, he's going to cruise back down to Pattaya. Fun stuff, though. Fun stuff. Don't rush, Dave. I'm guessing the girls will almost be moved into the new house. Yeah, by the time you get back, right? That'll be like totally cool. It's the don't rush thing. That's kind of funny. I was talking with a guy. I was at a meeting in Kopangan. So this is like last year, right? When I was traveling there, you guys remember? And my desk wasn't shaking from Kopangan. Sorry, Chris. And he's like, oh, it took you a little longer to get here. And I said, you know what? I've discovered the best thing to do is that I open up my phone and I get Google Maps out and I put the destination, and then I hit directions, and then it'll give you like, the best route kind of thing based on your preferences. Do you want to go toll road? Do you not want to go toll road? Do you want to go back roads? Do you want to go, freeways? Yes and no. And I'll tell you something. I always choose long way. So he and I would talk about that. And when we would meet up, like at a bagel shop or whatever, he's like, all right, well, let's go. It takes about 5 minutes there, but we should take the long way. So absolutely take the long way, dude. Don't rush and absolutely take the long way. I think that's the way to go. Just me. It was a great time. Foreigner Joe, Chuck, no time to be sad. James, the Chocolate Man, and Thailand Mitch. Also, Tony Bad Badger joined us for a couple of days. Well, the thing about, the honey badger, because the honey badger doesn't give a shit. And if none of you know what I'm talking about, just go to YouTube and type in honey badger and then watch that video. I actually know the guy who voiced it. He's ridiculously gay. Just teasing. But yeah, so the honey badger, he doesn't give a shit. And so you got to watch out for him when he basically shows up, because the honey badger, doesn't give a shit. And look at that. My buddy who also owns a juice company, Lifestyle Juicery. I am very pleased because I was running lifestyle juicery commercials on Kiss FM down in Pattaya, and he said to me today, he's like, "Oh yeah, we had some guy from Pattaya order," and for the most part, they are a Bangkok company. So I was thrilled about that. I have a feeling it's probably someone who used to live up here in Bangkok that just simply moved to Pattaya, but hopefully he's going to be able to engage the guy and find out if he actually learned about lifestylejuicery.com from bkkafm.com or kissfmpatia.com. So, stuff a roll of heliacs and some new dipoles in this carry-on. Excess baggage probably cheaper than transport. I would argue, absolutely, dude. And you know what's funny? Like, because I had a house in Mexico, and where the house was in Mexico, it was so far off the grid that there was almost no RFI, radio frequency interference. And it was also at a time when like 4G didn't really exist. And if you don't know, a lot of these countries like Mexico and even Thailand, when there was only 3G out there, there wasn't a whole lot of market penetration because actually 3G towers are actually fairly expensive. 4G towers are not as expensive. And it also provides so much data throughput that you're able to have, people will actually do it. When it was just like analog, flip phones or that sort of thing, that wasn't a big draw for countries to be like, okay, let's like totally ramp up our infrastructure. But once like 3G, 3.5G, H+, once that showed up, then countries started really jumping on the bandwagon. They also got a whole lot of infrastructure and backhaul and fiber. So it was totally worth it. But anyway, so I had this house in Mexico. It was off the grid, and I had a generator, or I had solar power, and I had batteries and that sort of thing. So I would bring gear down there from the radio station to test it out there. And I had this 2-bay circularly polarized LPB that I used, and I was able to get easily, and I only had like an exciter on it. So I had like basically, I think it was 50 watts, and I was able to get I was at kilometer 48, so I was able to get 48 kilometers. Actually, I mean, again, it was right on the coast, and but I was able to get almost about 45 kilometers of radius of that, and again, desert, very flat, and on top of I had a 2-story house, and then I had another 15-foot pole. So it was the top of the 15-foot pole, and of course I had it spaced out based on the frequency that I was transmitting at. And I'm trying to remember the frequency I was using, but it was like around 100 megs, right in the middle, 100. I think it was 102, 103, something like that. So that was a fun project. But the neat thing about it was I was able to test this antenna, and then I just didn't have any need for it. So I like sold it to one of these guys that like just really loves radio, kind of like me. But he was a younger kid. And I sold it for like a couple of $100, and I know I could probably order one of those online in the United States, but the duty to get it over here, and then oh my God, it would just be such a pain in the ass. And I think, if anyone were to ask me, like, what don't you like about, Thailand? I would say that anything like outside of the US, there's the ability to get everything. Like, so for example, today I went and I bought my Planters peanuts, which I actually would start chewing on right now, but it's 3:17. I'll go to 3:30. I'll go 13 more minutes. Then I'll start eating my peanuts off air, and I'll cruise home. And I'll get to see Mrs. Somerville, which will be awesome because I think she may be sharing it, but I know for me, I know for a fact I'm having the leftover spaghetti tonight, which I could not be more happy about. I bought a toaster the other day, so I get to have my toast with my butter from New Zealand and my spaghetti. So that's going to be a pretty good evening for me. I always wear my tinfoil hat when near the 5G towers. Why? I'm curious about that. I mean, are you just sort of joking, or do you really have this belief that like the 5G standard, the way that they transmit, is somehow more harming? Because it's not. I mean, electrically and RF wise, obviously there's no OSHA over here, right? I mean, you'll see like a giant, totally 180 degree, probably 120 degree radiator, flat panel for cell phone coverage. And I mean, it's right next to a hotel room window. Like, I mean, so it's like, okay, I get that. But you got to remember the power is not that high, and the frequency, you do really, you really believe that there's detrimental RF that's getting into you? But Fair enough. I do like to have that discussion with people because I find that I think I told you guys the story about a buddy of mine. He's also a YouTuber, and he was doing a YouTube video. He was talking about how 5G is very detrimental and stuff, and he was doing it in his kitchen. And he was doing it in his kitchen, sitting on a stool, and right behind him, he was cooking some food in his microwave, which is infinitely higher wattage, 2.4 gig. Yes, it's shielded, but you got to remember that of course there's some RF leakage. And the amount of RF leakage that you effectively get from a microwave, if it's an older microwave, it's almost less. It's almost higher, more higher power than your Wi-Fi router at 2.4 gigs. So yeah, Dave, a lot of us. I'm glad you came back. A lot of people were asking about you, dude. That is bad news bears. But I'm glad the towers were the ones that were speaking to you. So I can have that discussion about that quite a bit. Because the 22 gig, right? I mean, there's multiple bands that are part of it, not the least of which is 700 and 900 and basically what were unlicensed bands in the US. Some of them were licensed, some of them were unlicensed. And the beauty of that stuff, you don't get the data throughput, but my God, it bounces off everything. It bounces off styrofoam. You can get like more penetration, Chris. But yeah, I'm a huge proponent of 5G, and I believe that, especially in the U.S., my God, I mean, because OSHA is crazy in the U.S. Around here, you're probably going to friggin' die if you. No, not literally. It's not like they really crank up the power a whole lot. But the other thing too is that the 5G standard, one of the bands that they use, I believe, is 22 gigs. And if you're worried about getting pummeled by 22 gigs, well, then you just need to live in a tin box, because that's one of the frequencies that the satellite providers, like, for example, Dish Network, DirecTV, that's one of the frequencies they use. And they have a fairly high-powered satellite above you that is pummeling you with 22 gigs. And so, because that's why you only need an antenna this big to pick it up from 25,000 miles, right? So, I mean, it's very interesting how people, some of them, they get the information, and I don't blame them for getting wrong information. It's not necessarily their fault. If they don't have some degree of expertise in RF or any degree of electrical engineering, then why in the world would anybody know what gigahertz means? Why would you know that, billions of cycles per second? What does that actually mean to the human body and the cells in it, right? And the short answer, like to everything, of course, is it depends. And so... I spend my working with high voltage DC and AC. My nuts are well and truly fried. Yeah, I get that. I sat probably 2 meters from a 50,000 watt AM transmitter for at least 1 year. The year that I got a job, I was working at KCBQ in San Diego, if any of you know that. AM 1170, and that was the one that was 50 gallons during the day. So it was a 50,000 watt day timer. And I'm sorry. No, that's not true. It was wait, how did it go? Was it 50,000 watts at night? No. That was my AM at KFMB. AM KFMB was non-directional 5,000, so non-D, so one tower, and then 5,000 watts during the day, but then 50,000 at night over a 3-pattern array. And it was awesome, dude. We would hop through the ionosphere, and we from San Diego, we would get into Hawaii. It was friggin' awesome at night. But so the other one was like 50,000 during the day. So the 50,000 watt transmitter was literally like right to my, that like a couple of, So there's a part of me that's like, why did I even bother with the vasectomy? Just like, but turns out it was a good idea. Dave, how long are you going to be gone for this time? I mean, I hope you guys are willing to hold Dave accountable, because I am really, he's gone for like seconds at a time, which is totally inappropriate. I mean, dude, dead air, focus. I will tell you though that DC and DC, especially from a FM transmitter perspective, scares the crap out of me because my transmitters that I'm used to DC being in the 8 to 10,000 volt range. And if you guys know anything about what happens when you get, if you accidentally hold on to DC, there are things that we call dead sticks, basically, right, which you touch to ground so that you basically discharge a capacitor when you're working on voltage that high. But you also have like actual sticks that you need to smack somebody with or push them away from the DC, because it will, if you're quite frankly dumb enough to be using both hands when you're working on volts that high, what do you always do when you're working on? You have one hand behind your back, and you work, or you also have someone there with you. I have been by myself working on a transmitter and accidentally, the flash from that was intense and kicked us off the air. Never fun. 2.4 megawatt gen set. We were limited to 30 minutes working near the Starpoint connection because of the EMF. 2.4 megawatts of AC. What would you generate for that? I mean, if it was like a generator, then you would probably be. I mean, if it was like for a complex or something, what was it? Basically 480 3-phase, or was it one of these that was like added? I mean, you were doing. What did you do? 15 kVA? I don't know. The EMF from, again, it's 60 hertz, right? You're at a power station. So you guys are, so if you're at a power station, you're in a power station. What are you generating there? What's the highest voltage or kVA? Is it like, what's on the big, is it 380? Actually, Mark, in Thailand, are you like in Thailand? Do you like, what, because I think that's the highest power level on those, right? It's the 380 kVA lines. Maybe not. I can't remember. I know that we dumped it down to 115 in transformers in a couple of neighborhoods that I was in. We didn't. I had it done. I'm not power, dude. I will do RF all day long. Power is freaking scary. You get across that, and it is game over. Now, to be fair, I'll also tell you guys a story about what's referred to as the doghouse. The doghouse is basically the shed at the bottom of an AM tower, because an AM tower is simply a giant stick of metal that is installed vertically with guy wire so it doesn't fall over, but you can get self-supporters. But basically, it's on top of insulators that are above the ground, and the ground is literally the ground. So there's a ground plane. So there's actually like wires, copper wires that have a ground plane. Then there's the insulator, and then your transmitter is connected on top of the insulator, across the insulator, to the tower that's above you. And to tune that tower so that it matches the impedance effectively of the transmitter so that it doesn't go all wonky doodle, you need to have what you guys are talking about is bus bars. You need to have capacitors and inductors. Well, at 5,000 watts or 50,000 watts, an inductor is literally a giant copper coil that's about this high and about this long, and it's simply copper wound. And at 50,000 watts, I've seen a guy go in there and was sweeping out. Bless his heart, he really wanted to get into radio, so he's paying his dues. So he's like, Mike, let me go sweep the towers out for you. Okay. So he does that, and of course he had a cast or something for some reason his arm, and he's all sweaty. And he touches his arm to this 50,000 RF watts, and it vaporizes his skin. It was just scary. It smelled bad, shocker. But yeah, again, you're gonna damage yourself with RF. An RF burn effectively happens from the inside out, kind of. But anyway, it was still power. Power is frightening for me. Listen to Tom Donahue on KMPX from the 1960s. He's a legend, in your opinion. Remind me the market that KMPX is in. That bums me out. Dallas, that's right. Oh yeah, they were right on the border, right? Well, hello, Bodo. Whose lobby did you hijack today? Absolutely, dude. Well, I tell you right now, let me show you how friggin' awesome this lobby is. Boom. I'm actually here. I am at Union Space. Hashtag thrive together. Because Union Space, it's all about us. Union Space. I'm over here on Ekamai and using up co-working space hours, if you will, as well as studio hours that are part of a subscription that a company that I'm part of has here that no one's using because no developers are in Bangkok right now. The CEO actually physically is in Bangkok today, but he lives down in Pattaya. 17 kVA stepping up to 500 kVA. Really, it goes that high? Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so you generate 17. That's pretty cool. Pioneer of FM radio in San Francisco. KMPX? KMPX is in San Francisco? I could have sworn. Hold on. KMPX TV, Decatur. It's licensed out of Decatur. Interesting. Yeah, no, I don't. But I mean, I love San Francisco radio. Live 105, I think, is one of the best radio stations ever. It was alternative. They've flipped it since then, but it's not, So dude, you're in Thailand now, and you work at a power plant in Thailand. Oh my God, that must be so interesting. 50 hertz, though. Just throwing it out there, Chris. 50 hertz. Yeah, but Mike, we only need to do 3,000 RPM. Ba, 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 ba. Suck it up. Do the 3,600. Does Mike ever have owned a tinfoil hat? No, absolutely not. RF is good for you. I love RF. The higher the frequency, the better. Damn it. Andy, how are you, sir? Good to see you. 13 of you watching, I'm honored. This is amazing. The advantages of high-frequency ladder feed lines. Indeed. Yes, sir. Oh, virtual working space. Cool. You are. It is pretty cool, actually. Normally I would do a tour, right? But it's kind of like I'm at the end of the hallway in this. It's a photo studio. And I put this green screen. So to give you an idea of how many people have used this thing because of COVID, sadly, this green screen behind me, I literally took it out of the plastic wrap. Like it was sitting over there, folded up, not used. The black screen was the one that was hanging on the back of this. So they were doing a photo shoot probably before they were using this. And there's no chairs in here, so I'm sitting like on a bench, and then I have, so anyway, I'm making it do. But one of the first things I started doing is I whipped out my notebook and started making notes of the stuff I need to bring next time, not the least of which is a Coke Zero and a 100. Luckily, I have Joe's money, so I can spend that on a Coke Zero as well as a smoothie. So, Do mail or some koala background drops for Mike. Yeah, I know, exactly, right? Remember when he showed a picture of that? You ever like pick up a girl and she says to you, the dingo ate my baby? I mean, that would be a very clear indication of where you were living, especially if you got it on video. It's in transit. Not working in temperance. Ah, you're retired. Okay. Where were you? Where were you working in power? Were you in Dallas listening to KMPX, or were you up in San Francisco? Whew, I bet the stress is high in San Francisco. You do not go offline in San Francisco. Dallas, I'm sure they're pretty stressful too. It's a very big market. It's market 8, I believe. How big is I'm trying to remember what Dallas is. Is it 8? I mean, I know San Francisco's 5. Wow, San Francisco is 4. Dallas, Fort Worth is 5. That's a big friggin' market, dude. Nice. Bearings last longer at 50 hertz. Well, see, the way I design my generators is that it sits in the middle in this. So it's bearingless. Australia. Oh, so you were forced to use 50 hertz. Chris. Way to enforce that. No, I completely agree. And I totally understand the physical reasoning behind it. I just like 60 hertz better because it's a lot better math. A lot easier math for the kid. Do I miss good Tijuana tacos? I will tell you that my experience with tacos in Mexico is that the best tacos in Mexico are hardly available in Tijuana. There are decent ones. There's some street ones. If you guys don't know, the fish taco was actually invented in Ensenada. But I mean, again, the minute you invent it, like 7,000 other people are doing it. So you could be like, no, I invented it. And in fact, I was up in, right. And then, of course, everyone in San Francisco thinks that Ralph Rubio, they think he invented fish tacos, which is bullshit. He found out about it in San Felipe, Mexico. San Felipe has really, really good fish tacos. Ensenada has really, really good fish tacos. I will say that, so there was this really, I thought tasted really, really good, like taco truck, right? In other words, and they don't have food trucks. They don't have like high class food trucks in Mexico. They don't have anything high class in Mexico. Sorry, just kidding. They don't have anything high class in Tijuana. Tijuana's a shithole. And very dangerous, by the way. Anyway, we used to, and so what the taco shells in Mexico, like a real taco, is no bigger than your hand. And what they do is they grab some beef, they throw it in there. They grab some cilantro, they throw it in there. They grab some onions, they throw it in there. They grab some tomatoes, they throw it in there, and then they give it to you, and you're in charge of putting the sauce on it and that sort of thing. And so it's no bigger than. And they don't make burritos. Like, in other words, the U.S. designed a burrito. People, I mean, it was Tex-Mex, right? But yeah, tacos are definitely from Mexico. But there were some good ones. And I would completely agree with that. And so Gracie absolutely did make some of the best tacos at our house in San Diego. And we also lived in Tijuana for like 6 weeks. How long did we live down there, honey? Maybe it was like 2 or 3 months. Anyway, it was lame. I'm glad we don't do it anymore. You want to talk about getting motivated to get Gracie a U.S. visa? All we did was get her a Mexican tourist visa. And I'm like, all right, fuck this place. And again, we went down to Cabo. We had a fine time in Los Cabos. I can't go to San Felipe, Mexico anymore. Many of you know the story. I can't go there. It's very unsafe. Mexico overall is unsafe. But yeah, she made just amazing tacos. In fact, honey, we need to figure out, I just went to Villa Market. That's where I get my Planters peanuts. There's a couple of other very gringo markets around here, and I'm sure I can get taco shells from there, and we can make it. Barbecue and grill guy. So the short answer is that I purchase food. Gracie cooks stuff well, actually, which I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, I literally think that my wife she is a great cook of a number of things, like Mexican food, spaghetti, I don't know. She's never made me toast, but I'm quite certain that she's skilled at it. And she probably can't make me a really good hoagie sandwich, though. But, one could argue that no one in Thailand maybe would know how to do that either. So, yeah, holla for my Gracie, right? Absolutely. Do you know anyone in Tijuana that sells quality Wi-Fi routers these days? Yeah. No, all of mine were sold actually in the U.S. when I closed down my business. But, yeah. Hello, huh, honey? We were there 3 months. Man. Yeah, so and I spent more in. Now, again, we were living in Airbnbs versus, yearly leases, but nonetheless, just to get us somewhere that was like mildly safe. And even then it was questionable. Wait, hold on. I missed that one. What was that? Cheers. All I have the phone home and I only have 40 hertz. I know, right? Indeed. Only 50. And so last night she experimented with fried chicken. Now, if any of you have ever been to Thailand, then I would argue, and you may debate this, mass debate, like me and Chris, when we're together. Too soon? And wait, it says I have a pinned message. Because I clicked on that. Interesting. I didn't know I could pin a message. She experiments with like spices and that sort of thing. And the chicken that she made last night, when she was frying it, she also fried like basically a pork patty with some ground pork that we bought. And then she made this gravy, right? And it was funny because as I was tasting, I'm like, man, this is really salty. Well, she immediately gets up. You're so awesome, honey. She immediately gets up with the gravy, brings it back over to the stove, puts some more water in it to kind of dilute it, heats it up, brings it back over, and I'm thinking, okay. And I'm like, this is amazing. Now, I know this is going to potentially sound like I'm demeaning her quality of food, and that's not my goal here. But one of my more favorite gravies is KFC gravy, the KFC and the marshmallows. And I know you're like mashed potatoes, Mike. You know that's made out of flake. I know, I get it. So it's not exactly a baked potato from Donovan's Steakhouse in San Diego. Okay, I get it. But I really, really like the taste of the gravy from KFC. And the gravy I had last night from Gracie, I'm like, this is better. I love it. It's so amazing. Oh my God. So I'm glad that she loves cooking and experimenting. Has she ever seen a tornado? Probably not. It was funny because we were actually walking in Lumpini Park the other day, and there was wind swirling like this, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's how a tornado. We watched Twister on Netflix, so I think she has some idea of like what Hollywood thinks a tornado is like. And of course, those tornadoes are rare, devastating, and occur at least once a year in the United States in various areas and in other parts of the world too. But she's got typhoons, hurricanes, basically, is what they get from in the Philippines. And then, of course, because of the drainage being lousy, it causes flooding. Did my video just freeze on YouTube and or Facebook just then? I'll have to watch the replay, but it froze here for me. And again, I'm on their shared Wi-Fi. As you know, as an only child, I don't like to share in general. When it comes to Wi-Fi, it's even worse. I'm curious when her next video is coming out. She does really neat videos. I noticed that she has a Facebook page that she also called Why Thailand, which I thought was really, really neat. We will have a large debate involving heliacs and nitrogen when I get there. Why? What do you don't? Well, I mean, okay, I get it, heliac, but when it gets large enough, right? I assume, first of all, heliacs, I get it. It's not necessary, right? Because of course it's got such rigidity in the oh my God, I just forgot the word. Jesus Christ. That's horrible. I said it like 4 times already. Oh my God, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. It's so weird being in a different country and you don't use words occasionally, and then I don't use words occasionally, and I forget them. Yeah, she just uploads, but they're neat, right? Joe, thank you for always watching and commenting positively. I mean, I'm honored, really, dude. I froze for a sec. Nice studios light. It's not Sharpie to highlight the dome. Oh yeah, you like my my green fuzz that I'm getting from the reflection of the thing. I guess if I get further away, or actually if I get further away, it's even worse. But I also need to shave, and I hate, I hate this whole thing, facial. Frozen for a sec. Oh my God! So I said I'd go to 3:30, so now it's 3:42. I should glow at every stream. I know. Well, my horns hold up my halo, Bodo. So there you go. Anyway, my back hurts a little bit, and I still need to put all this stuff away and lug it home and go eat my awesome secondhand spaghetti that I'm looking forward to. But I want to say thank you so much for listening. Mariano, who stopped in here briefly, he's actually coming over here at some point. When he physically comes over here, I've already got sort of like it's not physical infrastructure, but let's say for the sake of running, I've already got the infrastructure ready. I've got the codes and everything, and I've got the 2 API calls that I know I need to make with YouTube. He's going to come over here and he's going to make for me, because he's a primo coder, a scroll that I want to have that I've shown you guys before that only right now highlights the people that give super chats, which I don't want to diminish that at all. Joe, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. I'm definitely going to buy a smoothie on the way home because I can get more than 2 smoothies for $60. So thanks. But I want to thank everybody from coming over, and I really appreciate talking with you guys. It's like really, really fun. Obviously, Gracie, I love you. I'll see you soon when I go home. But I completely agree, Roy. The best gravy does come made with the drippings. I told Gracie about that. I said, well, usually what you do is you take like the drippings that come from the thing that you're cooking, right? So there's beef gravy, there's, turkey gravy, right? mix it with a little bit of flour, maybe some cornstarch, spices, pepper, that sort of thing, and then that's how gravy gets made. And so anyway, she can do a video about her Mikey. You can do a video about me. I don't know. She'd probably lose interest in that pretty quick, but I do need. Yeah, we need a lightsaber. I actually, I think I have one of those. Yeah, I know I have a flux capacitor because, of course, that's what makes time travel possible. So, of course, I need one of those. But I can't justify the cost of a lightsaber at this point in the business. Anyway, thank you guys and gals so much for coming by. I'm honored. With that, it's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, then you don't have a green screen that makes your head look like my favorite Martian. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.